Welcome to BMG. Your safety is important to us. Now, while our policies and procedures are designed, developed and implemented to ensure your safety on our site, I need to remind you that primary responsibility for your safety vests with you. I'd like to welcome you once again and wish you a pleasant, successful and safe visit with us.
On entering and exiting any BMG premises, you may be subjected to a security check. Firearms are not allowed on any BMG property. If you are carrying a firearm, it should be checked in at security, where you will be required to sign for it to be locked in a designated safe, for which you will hold the key. You may recover your weapon on your departure. The consumption or possession of alcohol is not allowed on any BMG property. Should alcohol be found on your person, it will be confiscated. Nobody is permitted to enter BMG premises while under the influence of alcohol. Drugs are strictly prohibited at BMG. Any drugs found on an employee, visitor or contractor will be impounded and further action could be taken. All visitors to BMG should report immediately to reception. They should be accompanied by a BMG staff member at all times. On entering the premises, contractors should report to reception, who will then contact a designated BMG safety person or BMG official. The contractor is then subject to an appropriate safety induction. Safety induction is valid for a 12-month period or at the discretion of management. It should comply with group guidelines on contractor management, which include the BMG 37(2) mandatory agreement and the compulsory letter of good standing, as well as any other requirement applicable to the scope of work being conducted. All BMG employees, visitors and contractors should be aware of and cooperate with the following legislative appointees in the interests of maintaining a safe working environment. First aiders might include an on-site registered nurse who attends to and manages first aid emergencies, as well as first aiders who are trained and designated from within the staff complement to respond to emergencies immediately. Firefighters who are trained and designated from within the staff complement to respond to fire emergencies immediately. And safety representatives whose duties, amongst other responsibilities, include maintaining and facilitating a culture of safety in all BMG workplaces. Firefighting equipment should be correctly maintained and clearly identified. Only trained personnel are permitted to use this equipment. First aid equipment should also be correctly maintained and clearly identified. Only trained first aiders are permitted to use this equipment. The requirements for different types of PPE are risk-based and issued accordingly. This equipment must be used at all times in the workplace where appropriate risk deems such use necessary. Everyone should be familiar with the necessary safety signage. Mandatory signs are in blue, informative signs are in green, and hazards are indicated in yellow and black. These should be reported immediately pending the nature of the incident or before the end of the shift. They should be investigated by an assigned person or team that is qualified to do so. The company provides facilities for eating and refreshments, toilets and ablutions, and hygiene. Please be respectful to others and keep them neat and tidy. Risk assessment is the process of collecting, organizing, analyzing, interpreting, communicating and implementing information in order to identify the probable frequency, magnitude and nature of any major accident which could occur at a major hazard installation, and the measures required to remove, reduce or control the potential causes of such an incident. Tasks should be assessed for hazards before commencing with the job. The assessment should be reviewed at least annually or as conditions change. Good housekeeping is best described as a place for everything and everything in its place. Good housekeeping includes clear, safe, and uncluttered walkways. Poor housekeeping includes messy and unstructured storage, and extension cables lying across traffic areas, causing tripping and electrical hazards. Dealing with HCS or hazardous chemical substances requires both good housekeeping and stringent controls. This is a good housekeeping example. And this is a bad example of HCS housekeeping. Never ingest unknown substances, especially from unmarked containers. Safe use of hand tools should become second nature. Regular inspection is necessary. Always use the right tool for the right job. Portable electrical equipment, or PEE, needs to be carefully maintained and subject to regular checks. Look out for shoddy repairs and sloppy maintenance. These situations can lead to tragedy. Taped joints are notorious for causing accidents. In the event of an emergency that requires an evacuation of the workplace, all personnel should be aware of the procedures that enable a calm and orderly exit. When the evacuation signal alarm or siren is activated, people should down tools and move towards the designated exit along designated routes. Everyone should be aware of where the clearly marked assembly point is and who is responsible for taking a roll call of personnel present. Personnel should also know who their designated first aiders are. These people might be called upon to render assistance with injuries caused by the emergency. Only licensed forklift operators are allowed to drive and operate forklifts. Only licensed overhead crane operators are permitted to operate overhead cranes. All personnel should be aware that forklifts and overhead cranes are in continuous use in the workplace. These are potential hazards if disregarded. Be aware of forklift and overhead crane operations. Do not distract or interrupt forklift or overhead crane operators while they're busy. The following represent common hazard scenarios. Be aware of them and the dangers that they pose. Noise areas. Use ear protection. Moving forklifts. Be all-round aware. Slippery floors. Look where you walk. Watch out for trucks, buckies and cars moving around BMG premises. Make sure that products and materials are stacked and stored properly. If they're not, things can collapse and fall, causing damage and injury. Ensure that potentially harmful chemicals are stored in a secure and safe area. If you have to work at heights, always wear a safety harness that is properly secured. If you are using compressed air, be careful that you have eye protection. Do not use compressed air to blow off your clothes. Be exceedingly careful when using sharp tools and equipment. Use gloves or hand protection where necessary. A Stanley-type knife can cause considerable injuries if used carelessly. When using grinding equipment or polishers, take care to use eye protection. When using stairs, going up or down, always use the handrail to avoid injury should you trip or fall. Non-compliance with BMG's safety and health requirements could result in disciplinary actions. Employees could be issued with a letter of formal warning. Contractors could be banned from working on a BMG site. Visitors could be escorted off BMG property and not permitted to return. Each and every visitor, contractor and employee to BMG has the right to return home safely at the end of the day. We all have a responsibility to our loved ones and family to return home safe and sound. And remember, safety in the workplace is an attitude. It's a way of doing things, a way of thinking, and above all, the responsibility lies with you.